Welcome to another episode of The FWOT Show on the Coil Entertainment Network, the Happy Hour Network, VillageConnectionRadio.com, iTunes, the Google Play Store, and wherever else you happen to find podcasts that will tell you everything you need to know. Eventually. We can't tell you everything in one podcast. I can tell you this, though. I'm Rob Steele. In the background is Jesus Jones continuing to do an excellent theme song. Amazing how recordings work that way. And this is the show that lets you know that it's not just you. The world has actually lost its damn mind, as evidenced by the President of the United States meeting with Russian officials and just saying, here, have some classified information. Because that happened. Yeah, where'd that happen? In the White House. Really? Really? And that's not considered traitorous or treasonous or something? No, not this president. Notice I didn't say our president, because I don't think he is. He had a lot of crap going on this past week. A lot of it actually seemed to come out of this thing he did with the Coast Guard. The least known of our armed forces. The Coast Guard actually does some important stuff. I'm there with that. And the president gave the commencement speech at the 2017 U.S. Coast Guard commencement ceremony. And, geez, could there be anything else that he screwed up this badly? I mean, first off, they gave him a sword. They said, here, Mr. President, we would like to present you with this official Coast Guard sword. That's it. Give him sharp objects. I don't trust this guy with crayons, and you're giving him a sword. Really? But I digress. His speech. Did you listen to the speech? A vast majority of it was stolen. Blatantly. And not stolen from someone important. You remember when his wife stole Michelle Obama's speech and just kind of read it word for word? He did pretty much the same thing, but not from someone important. Not that Reese Witherspoon isn't important, but yeah, on the grand scheme of things, love you, Reese, and yet no. He ripped this commencement speech from Legally Blonde. Yeah, that movie. Seriously? Is that where you're... Wow. I mean, it was a good speech, but it was a good speech for the Legally Blonde movie. But then toward the end of the speech, he said something a bit, well, you tell me.
No politician in history, and I say this with great surety, has been treated worse or more unfairly.
No one in history. Really? Are you absolutely sure about that? Because, I mean, the first two names that readily come to mind are JFK and Nelson Mandela. I'm just saying. A quick Google search will bring up names like Gandhi, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. How about this? Emperor Valerian of the Romans. He was captured in battle and enslaved, used as a footstool, forced to drink molten gold, and was ultimately skinned and stuffed. But if you think you're being treated unfairly, Don, wow. In some news that's a little bit more horrific, well, no, President Trump is pretty horrific. This isn't very good either, though. Have you ever heard of ransomware? And no, not, dude, I stopped by your house earlier. Yeah, I ran somewhere, had to go to the store and get milk. No, not ransomware. Ransom, as in holding hostage. Ware, as in computer stuff. Yeah, ransomware is a thing now. And there is a program called WannaCry, because you're going to want to if you get it, that as of this past Sunday, it infected over 200,000 devices in over 150 countries. Now, this isn't just, oh, Steve's cell phone got hit. Hospitals got hit with this stuff. Now, what does this stuff do? It locks up your computer or your phone or your tablet. All of those are computers, get over that. Locks it up so you can no longer access your own data unless you give them, and I've heard varying amounts, somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 bitcoins, which is like $300,000. And no. So, what I'm going to do is tell you two ways around it. One, back up everything. back it up to the cloud if you want to. You can go to Walmart and buy a backup hard drive. External USB cord, you know how to use those. Make sure you unplug it once you're done backing it up, and ultimately you will be, I'm not going to say fine, but considerably better than you would be if you got hit without it backing up all your stuff. Step 2. There is a new version of an old program called Malwarebytes. I'll put the link on the website. The new version, Malwarebytes 3, has anti-ransomware software in it. It's a free program. You'll have to run it periodically unless you want to pay, I believe it's $19.99 for the full version that'll run in the background constantly. Either way, very good and a very good program. Protect your computer, because otherwise you won't be able to listen to this show anymore, and that would suck. Bit of archaeology news, because I don't do that very often. Egyptian archaeologists have discovered 17 mummies, mostly intact, in an area south of Cairo. This is actually kind of cool. They're expecting to learn a whole lot of stuff from them. Nothing has been learned yet because it happened this week, and archaeology takes time. Be patient. However, the area is expecting this to be a boom for tourism, because who wouldn't want to go see where mummies were found? That sounds like a great summer trip. I would say book the flight. Except there's about to be a new ban put on U.S. airlines, right now just to Europe. But I think this qualifies as Europe. Egypt, Europe, they both start with an E, both in roughly the same part of the world. And unfortunately, I think it's going to count. Yeah, I know, I'm not the one geographically impaired. Talk to the people imposing the ban on using laptop computers on airplanes. That's right. No more using a laptop on your flights to and from Europe and the Middle East and whatever Egypt is considered called, because it's technically Africa, but it could be in the Middle Europe, Middle East Europe. I get so confused in that area, but that's okay. That does remind me, this episode is being brought to you by United Airlines. United, dyslexic for untied, which is like unhinged, which is what the airlines have become. More stupidity out of the White House. Yeah, that's going to come several times during this show. Donald Trump is having issues with James Comey, who said he has made extensive notes about every conversation he had with the president. And Donald Trump says, quote from a tweet, James Comey better hope there are no tapes of our conversations before he starts leaking to the press. Why? What are you going to do? You've already fired him. And Comey says, yeah, I'll testify, but you got to make it public. Do it. Make it public. That would be awesome. But something else Donald Trump said in regards to this is, and I'll quote from a tweet, because having him speak, yeah, he already spoke once this episode, that's enough. Quote, maybe the best thing to do would be to cancel all future press briefings. Why? Because he wants the press, and I'm not making this up, to stop fact-checking him. Yeah, stop fact-checking what I'm saying, man, because you're going to find out that I make up damn near everything I say, and dude, you're the president. Stop making shit up. Something else that's going on in this country that I'm not entirely sure I agree with is the removal of Confederate statues. Bear with me, I'm going to have this make sense. Because those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And whenever I see a Confederate statue of, hey, this was a general, and he was on the Confederate side, I look at it and go, okay, don't be a d- like him. That's what I think. I know a lot of people see it as something different, as an oppressive thing. You know what? That's fine. So one of the things now is getting rid of these statues around the country, including Charlottesville, Virginia, where a crowd showed up of, here's a shock, white people, I'm still beige, carrying torches and chanting things like, all white lives matter, no more brother wars, and this is the one that threw me off a little bit, Russia is our friend. Want to bet they're Trump supporters too? Really, people? Russia is our friend. Gotcha. Bit of health news because, it happens. The first part of it comes from an unfortunate coupling of headlines on CNN's website. The following two headlines were accidentally put together. They read, Prince Harry kissed his girlfriend, and the reason hepatitis C infections tripled. I'm pretty sure the hepatitis C thing actually doesn't have anything to do with Prince Harry, but the fact that they put the word "and" in just kind of makes it look a little suspect. That's all I'm saying. Although in actual health news, a South Carolina coroner says that 16-year-old Davis Cripe was killed last month from a caffeine overdose. According to witnesses, Davis chugged a large soft drink, a latte, and then an energy drink, all within about a 2-hour span, causing his system to overload on everything, causing a cardiac event, which is really a heart attack. So for those of you who think, yes, I need to have all the caffeine I can possibly have, no, it actually can kill you. Stop that. See? Bad for you. And I know Elle Shepherd's not going to particularly care for the way I end this show because I'm going to two things that came out of the world of sports. She'll be fine with it. Listen anyway, Elle, the first one's funny. 33-year-old NFL free agent Antonio Cromartie, and I wouldn't have guessed this, had a vasectomy. Why is this news? Well, he announced that he had this procedure done a while ago, and yet he and his wife are now expecting their 14th child.
Pregnant?
14. Holy cow. With a vasectomy, and well done, Antonio. Expect this to pop up later as a, hey, that kid don't look like me story, because, it's coming. Then there's this. A story I didn't much care for this past week came out of New York, and it had to do with former New York Yankee Derek Jeter. His number was retired by the New York Yankees, so no one else can wear the number 2 for the Yankees. You know what? I get that. I do. I don't care, though. Now, one of the things that's come out about this is Derek Jeter, yes, he was the greatest shortstop of all time. I'm not even sure he was the greatest Yankee shortstop. Phil Rizzuto, I thought, was awesome. Best ever in the game? Hell no. Derek Jeter's a guy who led the league in runs once and hits twice. Let's look at somebody else who's in this same category. Rogers Hornsby. He won 2 triple crowns, that's leading the league in home runs, batting average, and RBI in the same season. How many people have done that all time? I believe it's 11, and he did it twice. Also, Hornsby had a higher lifetime batting average than Derek Jeter had at any single point in his career. Now, Derek Jeter was obviously a better player than, let's say, me. I never made the majors. Derek had everything going for him. He's in New York, surrounded by a lineup that is a hell of a lot scarier to pitch to than he is. That's why Derek, the singles hitter, got all the pitches to hit. If he had played anywhere other than New York for the Yankees, you never would have heard of him. Put him in a Milwaukee lineup, put him in a San Diego lineup. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you have any problems with my assessment of Derek Jeter's career, feel free to contact me. Send me an email, rob@thefwotshow.com. Go to the FWOT Show website, thefwotshow.com. Go figure. There's buttons for Facebook and Twitter. Yes, go ahead, troll away. But while you're there, don't forget to subscribe to the show because, hey, you learned something during the show anyway, didn't you? Didn't you? I know you did. I would like to thank Jesus Jones for doing the theme song that you're listening to in the background. Also, don't forget to click on the shop button on the FWOT Show website. We have t-shirts, we have coffee mugs, and we have hats. I added hats because hats can be cool. In the meantime, I'm going to leave you with this. It's an article from New York Magazine, and it's just the title because, honestly, I misread it, and I'm not sure how this would work. The title actually read, Donald Trump tries to explain economics to The Economist. Hilarity ensues. Now, I can see that because Donald Trump is having trouble explaining his hair. or his lack of tax returns to everybody. So of course he can't explain economics to the economist. The funny part out of this is what I read, which was Donald Trump tries to explain economics to the economist. Hillary ensues. I think that makes for a much more interesting storyline. Anyway, have a good week, everybody. And remember to be careful out there. It's getting worse.